Hi there, and welcome to the Creative Problem Solving for Dummies workshop by Daring Bio Limited. This workshop's ideal for teams who are bringing in innovative thinking to their businesses, and if you'd be interested in delivering this workshop at your company or with your team, drop me an email at graham@daringbio.com. Far too often in the industry, creative problem solving is not utilised in the right places at the right time and using the right approach to fully benefit business. Creative solutions can save time and money and can dramatically transform productivity. And this approach can be used by any team members with no specific training to dramatically increase their engagement and the impact of their work on the company. So the 3 phases of creative problem solving are shown here, showing the goal of the exercise, where we take our initial problem, expand it out in our ideas phase before focusing in on the best solution. The first phase is clearly defining the problem, and here we're looking to identify a very concise problem statement which can be used for the brainstorming and decision-making stages. The problem statement must be understandable, written in simple language, and written in a way to invite new solutions from team members with, for example, less technical expertise. And only once the problem statement is complete should the team proceed to the next stage, which is brainstorming. And here, the key is to have fun, be playful, and come up with creative solutions. Creative solutions just come from a very relaxed mind, and you've got to allow your right brain to think. And here we can use a number of approaches to knock people out their traditional ways of problem solving. And of course, the key here is the quantity of ideas, not quality, as we will see going forward. And then the third phase, of course, is to choose the best solution to the problem. And here the team works together to group their ideas and focus the solutions on the best combination of ideas. Now, these 3 phases are defined by 3 different roles, which can help team members associate with the mindset involved. So in defining the problem, teams should think of themselves as explorers, using unbiased, inquisitive, adventurous approaches to define the problem in new ways. In the brainstorming phase, we're artists, not constrained by traditional thinking, happy to challenge dogma and norms, and giving our heart and soul to the performance. And in the third phase, we're the judge, assessing all of the evidence and focusing down into a single decision which we're comfortable with. This first workshop looks at defining the problem clearly. Now, it's extremely common for teams to define a problem too quickly without input from key stakeholders and customers, often defining the wrong problem or choosing a problem which they believe is solvable rather than the actual root cause. Does that sound familiar? Taking time to define a problem clearly results in much more effective solutions being found. So in the first phase, we're the explorer, looking to define the problem in a different way. The key here is to focus on defining the problem, not on trying to solve it just yet. Now here a number of approaches can be useful. For example, we can make the problem more specific or more generic, moving up or down the funnel depicted here. So questions that allow us to make it more specific include what is the problem, who is the problem or who is it associated with, how does the problem come about, when does the problem occur, where does it occur. Equally, we can make the problem more generic by asking the question why. Why does the problem occur? And here we can use multiple why questions to help us expand and get into greater detail. As we identify new problems, we can use this technique again to move up and down the specificity funnel. Now equally, we can look to change the wording of the problem by rewording or rephrasing the problem. And we can also challenge any assumptions that we have about the problem that are inherent in the way we're defining the problem. Imagine you're not a technical expert familiar with the problem, but are explaining the problem to a layperson or a family member. How can you define the problem in a different way? So here, it's important to define the problem in a way which can open up problem solving to solvers from different worlds. Here are a few examples of famous problems which were solved by defining the problem in a different way, allowing solutions to be discovered which initially could never have been found had the problems been defined by their technical experts. The one that I'll choose as an example is the Exxon Valdez oil spill in the Arctic Ocean, which led to huge environmental catastrophe that still polluted the seabed 20 years later on, with thick crude oil. The technical experts hadn't managed to find a solution while they were focused on that of oil cleanup. However, when they defined the problem differently as one of that involving viscous materials, thick materials, the problem could be approached by experts in different areas who also understood viscous materials. And the eventual solution was proposed by a cement engineer who was very familiar with the properties of cement, which is another highly viscous material. And he knew that simply vibrating cement led to a dramatic reduction in its density and the ability to pump using just traditional machinery. Simply by vibrating the oil in the ocean bed allowed simple extraction of the oil in a very short period of time, reducing any further long-term environmental impact from the spill. Pretty cool. Now another example that we can work through together is that of the Dyson Cyclone vacuum cleaner, where the Dyson team was successful in defining the problem differently to attract new solutions and ultimately new products to be developed in the highly competitive vacuum cleaner industry. The first vacuum cleaners had always been highly ineffective, heavy, noisy, often being blocked. So with the initial problem of an ineffective vacuum cleaner, we can try to make the problem more specific by asking what is the problem, how does the problem occur, where does the problem occur. And one key problem, of course, with vacuum cleaners is that their filter becomes blocked. So now we have a new, more specific problem. And we can again make that problem more specific to say what becomes blocked, how does it become blocked, where does it become blocked, and why does it become blocked. And answering these questions can allow us to define the problem even more specifically. And instead of it being an issue about the filter, it can be rephrased as a problem about separation of the air and the dust which is collected in the vacuum cleaner. So in rephrasing this blockage problem as a separation problem, you can open up solutions to ideas from other worlds. Now in the second webinar, we're going to be looking at brainstorming solutions as the artist and focusing in on the way forward as the judge. If you've enjoyed this workshop, try out some of these approaches in your own line of work. You might find that you could come up with some new creative solutions that have never been imagined. And please sign up to my email newsletter to receive more innovation advice and insights at daringbio.com. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.